And here is Steve in Ipswich, Massachusetts. Great to have you. I'm glad you called, sir.
Thanks so much, Rush. Happy holidays. Merry Christmas.
Same to you, sir.
So my blood pressure has just been going through the roof lately, between all the news of this guy getting thrown off. I just don't see an end game to this. And I'm hoping you have some type of an end game to get these guys out of there, Mueller and his crew, to get me back off the ledge.
Now, that's an interesting point. I think about it too. I don't sit and try to imagine various scenarios how it would end. I honestly tell you that I have this thing called faith that's probably worthless to all of you, but I have faith that this is going to end up right. But I don't know how, I don't know what's going to happen before it does. And I'm not deluding myself. I'm not confusing wishful thinking and turning it into what I think is reality. But let's deal with this as the program unfolds. I've got to take a break now, but I'm glad you mentioned that. Appreciate it. We'll continue here in a moment, folks. Yes! Yes! Okay! All right, great. No. Software update. I'm exulting over a software update. Nothing. I didn't even know the microphone was on, folks, when I did that. Anyway, it's kind of embarrassing. I didn't know the. Yes, I've been waiting for 2 days, and it finally happened, and is having to coincide with the hour beginning. Greetings, welcome back. Great to have you, Rush Limbaugh, the EIB Network, and the Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies. The phone number, if you want to join us, 800-282-2882. The email address, lrushbo@eibnet.us. I'm talking to Andy McCarthy after the program today, interviewing for the upcoming issue of the Limbaugh letter. And I'm going to ask him, I don't mean to sound like I don't think about this. Our last caller says, what's the end game, Rush? I mean, you're telling us how illegitimate the investigation is, and it is, but that's not stopping them. They know it's illegitimate. They know they started an investigation over nothing as a means to create crimes elsewhere. Look, the bottom line, they know, folks, they know they don't have Donald Trump committing any crimes about the election and colluding with Russia. Hillary did all of that. They've known from the get-go that Trump didn't commit any crimes. This is all manufactured. From leaks in the deep state, this is a manufactured thing starting from the Obama administration. This comes from John Brennan, the CIA, and James Clapper, the Director of National Service, and Obama acolytes scattered throughout the deep state. This whole premise that Trump's election is illegitimate springs from the political community organizing strategy and techniques of the Obama administration. They knew that there was no crime that Trump committed. They knew that they needed to start an investigation where they could have crimes committed there, which they're now telling us they've succeeded at. They've got Flynn lying to investigators. Now they're going after Trump for obstructing justice by trying to firing Comey. So how does it end? When they know they're doing something bogus and illegitimate, but they've got an objective. In their world, it's totally legitimate because Trump's an outsider, doesn't deserve to be there. Trump has no business being there. This is the world we're talking about. He's unequipped. He's unqualified. He's an idiot. All of these things. Plus, he's a barbarian. We don't want people like this in our club, and we're not going to put up with it. And we don't care about the Constitution. We're going to do whatever we have to do to get rid of him. How do we stop that? I'm going to ask McCarthy, because McCarthy, there's no bigger rule of law guy than Andy McCarthy. There's no bigger proponent of the rule of law being the recipe. But when you have people that are behaving by design outside the rule of law, they won't admit they're doing that, by the way. And their supporters don't even think of this as being outside. Their supporters think this is the Constitution being upheld because their supporters, these dumb coughs, really think there was collusion. So how is a special counsel investigation stopped, particularly if it's illegitimate and if there is no underlying crime? The only crimes are those they can create in the process of conducting the investigation. How does it stop? How do you beat it back? You know what I still rely on? And I know you're going to sneer at this, but I'm going to say it anyway. I still believe in the power of the American people. And I'll tell you why. You may think this is quaint and not realistic, but it's the only thing separating the swamp from succeeding so far. Trump won the election. You look at the forces that were arrayed, and you look at the power projected against Trump all during the campaign and since he was elected. Now, they have put roadblocks up, and they have succeeded in stalling and thwarting elements of the agenda, but Trump gets up every day and tries to march forward on it all. And he still has his voters behind him. The swamp wants to make their takeover of the government look like it's legitimate and constitutional. So they're going through the motions here of trying to find supposed justifiable reasons to impeach Trump. What is to stop them from just marching a couple people up to the White House and effectively pointing a political gun at Trump's head and saying, you either leave, you resign today, or else. And the else we won't know, but whatever threats they want to make. What's to stop them from doing this? And I maintain to you that even though they resent the American public and they don't really consider elections to be legitimate unless the American public votes the way they want them to, there's still an invisible line that, at least as of now, they don't want to cross and proceed into total totalitarianism or full-fledged, very loud and obvious coup. Now, the Wall Street Journal today has an editorial that just lambastes Mueller, and the Wall Street Journal is an inside-the-establishment publication, as is its editorial page. And the Wall Street Journal editorial page has been very much never Trumper from the get-go. I'm not saying that the Wall Street Journal editorial is going to make Mueller resign. I'm saying it's an element of opposition that has now been registered. Up till now, look at how Mueller began. Reputation impeccable. Resume impeccable. Integrity, honesty, character, unassailable. That's how he was presented to people that never heard of him and don't know who he is. That whatever this guy says, you can trust it and then some. Whatever this guy does, you can believe it and trust it and then some. Whatever he ends up charging, you can trust that it is lawful and legit. Well, there are some people now beginning to put some chinks in that armor, in that reputation. And one thing guys like Mueller don't want is for their reputations to be sullied. However, there are always mitigating circumstances. And in this case, getting rid of Donald Trump and erasing this election and its outcome may be seen as well worth a couple of hits to the reputation. It's hard to describe for people that don't know these kinds of people, the people that really lead the establishment, but their public image, their reputation for probity and character, decency, integrity, all of the great virtues is of paramount importance to them, especially to people who don't know them. And they don't want any These are people that do not want and do not accept and will not abide bad press. To them, that's not part of the price. They do not get treated that way. There are not very many of these guys. I mean, this is not the entire establishment. I know, I've had emails. How do you know all of this? And if you don't know it, how do you say it with so much confidence? Folks, I do know it. Once you learn, well, I don't want to go any far. Just don't doubt me on this. I know this stuff. It's not because I know them, and it's not because I'm in it. In fact, it's precisely because I'm not that I understand what it is. But I do know that much of what's happened is it's unbelievable to them. They cannot believe that this guy won. They can't believe that they were not able to stop him. They can't believe he's still there. They can't believe they haven't taken him out yet. They can't believe he's still smiling. They can't believe that they haven't gotten rid of Tillerson yet. They can't believe any of this. They can't believe he's not in jail. They have been, in terms of their ultimate objectives, they have not succeeded yet. But they don't care about that. They're playing the long game here. I think they can be beaten back. I think they can be exposed. I think there's quite a lot the American people can learn that would really present these people in a bad light. And they already are. Why do you think Trump won? Trump won because people are already fed up with the world of politicians and the way that world operates. That's why Trump won, not taking anything away from him personally, his charisma, his campaign, his issues. The fact that Trump won tells me that these people can be defeated. And if they've been defeated once, which they were in the election, it can happen again. I'm a natural optimist in most things. In certain things, I'm a dyed-in-the-wool pessimist, but I don't tell you what those are. But on balance, I'm an optimist on things like this. And we will see. I'll see what Andy says. I'm mentioning this now so that Andy can start thinking about it. This kind of question, when you get it, what's the end game? How do we get there? You do need to think about that. Because right now what we're doing is reacting to each and every day's revelations, events, occurrences, supposed factual events. Like we're reacting to the plea deal of Flynn. Now we're reacting. Have you heard what Manafort did? Manafort supposedly violated a plea deal. He's supposedly ordered by the judge not to make any public statements. Not the case. So he arranged for an op-ed to be ghost-written, making his case, but not under his name. And the prosecutors found out about it. And now they're ready to put an ankle bracelet on him and keep him in his basement with nothing but bread and water for food twice a day. They're livid. And Manafort has been charged with things that happened in 2016, have literally nothing to do with the so-called crime they're investigating, collusion with the Russians to steal an election. So clearly they want Manafort. They want to put so much pressure on Manafort that he will, if he lied and told them that Trump did this and that, they'll accept it. Matthew in Plainview, Long Island. Great to have you on the program. How you doing?
Hi, Rush. How you doing?
Just fine, sir.
I just wanted to ask you one simple question. Do you think Robert Mueller is now the most powerful man in America?
I think he thinks so.
Well, from my point of view, he's got an investigation where he's allowed to prosecute, pick and choose who he prosecutes. He has the ability to investigate anyone he sees fit, and it's an unconstitutional. There's no parameters or restrictions.
Well, no, I get your circumstance. Traditionally, it's the president who is considered the most powerful man in the free world, and maybe the whole world. But Now you're talking about a guy who thinks And everybody else, a lot of other people think that he holds Trump's presidency in the palm of his hand, which may mean this guy's got more power than Trump. However, Trump can fire this guy. Trump can pardon Flynn, and he can fire this guy, and he can fire anybody he wants. He can do it. Now, there would be political consequences, maybe, but he can still do it. So when it comes down to real raw power, Trump still has it. But if he's made the decision not to fire Mueller for whatever reason, and Mueller may think he holds Trump's presidency in the orifice of his choice. Hello, testing 1, 2. Did our caller drop off?
Hello?
Yes, you're there. What's your reaction to what I just said? That's why you're here.
I agree with you, but his one objective, which is set by the Democrats, the deep state, the swamp, is to, at a bare minimum, get Trump impeached, or if the real objective, they want to see him carried out in cuffs.
Oh, I think if they could do that, if they could send him to jail, put him in a dock, yeah, none of that would surprise me. Now back to the phones. Beaverton, Oregon. Steve, glad you waited. Welcome to our program, sir. Hi.
How you doing, Rush?
Fine and dandy, sir. Thank you.
First-time caller, many-time dialer, and this is the best Christmas gift ever. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
This isn't the reason I called, but I'm from Oregon, and we have a very high state tax, and I'm not exactly happy about that either. And if you want to talk about that after my question, we can do that. But the main question I have for you is, you keep talking, during your monologue, you were talking about lying to the FBI. And I'm not a lawyer, and I don't play one on the radio, but I don't understand how lying to the FBI is a crime. People lie all the time.
Well, because it's been entered in the statute as a crime. It's an actual United States Code violation to lie to federal prosecutors, federal investigators. That would be the FBI.
But are they under oath at the time?
Doesn't matter.
But,
it really doesn't matter. Talk to Mark. Here's the thing. If you want the crazy, Flynn did not have to talk to. You don't have to talk to them.
You don't.
No.
You don't at all. And the other thing is, there was a Supreme Court ruling that stated that the police can lie to you.
Right. That's true. So I see it on TV all the time.
It's got to go both ways.
No.
So
now you may think that justice is balanced toward the accused. It isn't. It's made to look like it is, but when the feds are involved, there's no way you can balance. You don't have the money they have. You don't have the people that they have.
Yeah. So a lot of people just give up and they just acquiesce and do what they want to do. Michael
Flynn's friends said that at the top of the list of reasons why he did this, he can't afford. He would go broke continuing the fight. It's tearing his family apart. And then when they zeroed in on his son, and wanted to nail his son for the same crime, Flint's, okay, that's it. I'm not letting my son take a hit for this stuff. Cop to plea. It's one of the pressure points and tactics that they use. It's in their arsenal, and they use it as often as necessary. And they can always outlast you because they've got more money than even Prince Mohammed bin Salman of Saudi Arabia. They've got more money than Gates. They got more money than Buffett. They got more money than Jeff Bezos combined. If they want to really spend you into oblivion, they can do it.
So another question is, how do they know that you're lying? If you believe that what you're saying is the truth.
Because if you tell them on Tuesday that you didn't know X, and then 6 months later, you say, yeah, I knew that, you've lied to them.
Well, yeah, but Hillary Clinton's memory all of a sudden
but
in and out like that.
Hillary didn't intend, you see. That's what they told us.
Well, I didn't intend to lie to the FBI either.
And neither did Flynn, but he still did. Screw him.
So how does it...
Because the purpose of this is to exonerate Hillary, to save the Obama legacy, and to nail Trump and get rid of anybody who wants to try to help Trump. No exaggeration, not making it up, not trying to be funny. That's what's going on here. We're outside the Constitution. We've got a bogus investigation driving all this. Collusion with Russia to steal the election. It never happened. There's not a shred of evidence, and yet we're investigating it. In the process, people are lying and obstructing justice. If you're Trump and you didn't do this, and none of your people did this, and you've got a phony dossier written about you that says you did it, and all of these forces are arrayed against you, and one of the guys leading them is the FBI director, and you run the FBI, you fire the guy. You have every right to. You didn't do any of this. And the whole establishment, which you now run, the federal, the executive branch is coming after you. Of course, you're going to fire Comey, but now, if you're Trump, what do? Can you imagine how frustrated this is? Imagine yourself being pursued for something you didn't do. That if they convict you of it, it ruins you and your family. What would you do?
Yeah, exactly. But see, people now know this. They know that they're coming after you, and you don't have to talk to the FBI. So, I mean, aren't they learning in the process here that if the FBI comes to me, I just say, I'm not saying a word.
But there's if you don't talk to them, they can always come subpoena you. They can, at some point.
You still don't have to talk to them.
But then you get a lawyer, and you take a lawyer in there with you. And you don't say a word.
Right.
But see, these guys didn't do anything. In their minds, they're cooperating and helping. This is, I don't know, if they didn't know that they were being pursued, that's a whole other matter. But I think Flynn is a patriot. It's a former military guy. Defense Intelligence Agency for Obama. He's on the Trump transition team. They're working with the Russians, getting ready for the new administration. The FBI comes calling. It's, I think, his intention to try to be helpful. He lies, whether he lies or not, didn't know he was lying or what have you. He blundered. He did lie to Mike Pence about all this, too. I'm not trying to exonerate Flynn here, but the point is, they've got Hillary Clinton on 10 times all this.
Exactly.
For which she has been exonerated in public. Now, there's no question about what's going on here.
Yeah, I know. I'd still like to see Hillary in jail. But
lock her up. Lock her up. Well, I'm not trying to throw gasoline on anything here, but where are the people who would normally be standing up and helping Trump fight all this? Where are they? Devin Nunes is about to blow a gasket over the FBI, congressional, the Senate, or the House Intelligence Committee has regularly asked for this stroke guy to show up and testify about what the hell he did and what his text messages were to his mistress about how they both hated Trump. And the FBI says, screw you. We don't have to answer to you. You're a low congressman. Who do you think you are? We're not talking to you. We're not sitting up. And they didn't. He's about ready to blow his gasket. The swamp is not cooperating. They're simply telling these chump change congressmen to go suck it. They're way, way outside. If Nixon had been doing any of this, it'd be a whole different story. This is it's uncharted territory because normally these procedures are followed and met because the Constitution is the rule of law. It's the glue that holds things together. When you've got the FBI playing a one-way game here and the Congressional Committee, which has oversight over the executive branch, and has to look at these irregularities and subpoenas or asks for testimony from FBI agents, and the FBI says, screw you, we're not showing up. We're not telling you anything. Then what do you do? All it takes is a couple people who decide the Constitution doesn't matter. Well, the stated reason that Mueller is going after Deutsche Bank, Trump's Deutsche Bank records, get this. I mean, this is on the surface. What the hell does this have to do with Russian collusion? Well, somebody put a rumor out some time ago that Trump's financial dealings with Deutsche Bank had connections to Russia. And those connections to Russia via Deutsche Bank might show that Trump colluded with Putin to steal the election from Hillary. And so Mueller is going to go subpoena and did subpoena, and the Deutsche Bank people are cooperating because they're scared to death, too. They don't need this. And the Deutsche Bank is one of the prime lenders for the Trump organization when they need money for real estate development. And so there's a rumor that there's financial dealings there, Deutsche Bank, Trump, and Russia. I mean, this whole... sure they can try to stop it. But the point is that Mueller is going there. And this is Trump family finances that precede any Trump intention to seek the presidency. It's just another bit of evidence that this is an impeachment investigation. It's not a collusion investigation. It is not a counterintelligence investigation, and it's not even a criminal investigation. This is an investigation where they hope to produce not enough evidence to they hope to persuade the American people, because impeachment is a political event. And what they're aiming for, folks, I'll tell you what the game plan here, they are counting on the Democrats winning the House in 2018. So this is going to go on all through next year. This is going to be one of the many things the media and the left are going to use to try to impact campaigns next year so that Democrats retake the House. And then when Democrats retake the House, you watch how fast Mueller puts his investigation to bed and turns it over to the Democrats, who will then be running the House, theoretically, to begin preparation of articles of impeachment. That's what all this is predicated on. Democrats control it. If the Republicans control the House, and all this is kind of moot. Okay, look, I just hit on the answer. The caller said, what's the end game? How do we stop this? He was asking, how do we stop the Mueller investigation? You're not going to stop it. But the Mueller investigation requires, it is predicated on the Democrats winning control of the House and then running the articles of impeachment. That's what this really did. If you want to stop Mueller, don't let the Democrats win the House.